Hi, everybody. I'm not going to be surprised this time, but we're live. So if you are able to make it to watch us today, hats off to you because it's so hot where I am right now. Getting pretty roasted right now, and I've had to turn off the fan because otherwise it sounds like I'm on an aeroplane. So if suddenly I have to calm myself down, it's just I'm getting overheated like a excited child or something. But hello, everybody, and welcome to our 12th installment of the virtual coffee and chat. If you're new to watching us, if you've seen us before, you may not even have really heard of the Children's Society. Well, this is a safe space for you to find out more information about what we do, and how we what our aims are and how we do really try to put young people in the forefront. So as per normal, please do comment, say who you are, say how you found us, and just the chats are there open for you to ask questions and just really have a good natter, really. So if you are watching the garden, I'm really jealous of you. So please, can you make me even more jealous and comment with some photos? Let us know where you're from. Let us know just a little bit about you. So I'm Anna, and I'm part of the marketing and fundraising team at the Children's Society. So if you also have a question for me, you can comment and I'll try and answer it. But most importantly, please do continue messaging us, commenting, letting us know what you want to really hear about, because ultimately these shows, these episodes, whatever you want to call them, are for you guys. So carry on commenting, telling us who you want to hear from. I know you love hearing from young people, and last week's show was incredible. So we are trying to engage more with young people. So don't worry, we are listening. But without further ado, because we don't have him for very long, because he's a very much needed person across the sector. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our next guest, well, our only guest, except for me, but I'm not a guest. I'm going to introduce Rory Morgan. Hey,
Hi.
Rory.
Hi.
So I just want to welcome you to this very warm show. Where are you right now?
I'm in North London, in my room. Yeah, just kind of wishing I was outside, but still having a good time. Got a big window, so keeping cool. Got some plants behind me, so it feels like I'm outside, but
yeah. You've got your own little garden in there, basically.
Yeah, lots of plants.
Yeah, I really apologise that obviously you've come in on one of the hottest weeks that we've had so far. So sorry about that. But I can imagine that a lot of people are going to be outside enjoying their day. So I just want to remind everybody that you can watch this again if need be. I totally understand, and I'm sure you do too, Rory, because I'm meant to be outside. So first things first, to kind of, I was going to say warm us up, but I don't need any more warming up. We're going to do a little game. So we've done it before. So it's the 60-second round. How many questions can you answer in 1 minute? Okay, I've got my timer up here. Okay, so you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's go for it. Thick chips or thin chips?
Thick.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
What's your favorite carbohydrate?
Pasta.
Hot weather or cold weather?
Hot weather.
Favorite childhood TV show?
Oh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Interesting. Laundry or dishes?
Laundry.
Calling or texting?
Calling.
Apple or Android?
Android.
Custard or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Board games or video games?
Board games.
Favorite cereal?
Cheerios.
Fruit or vegetables?
Vegetables.
Last thing you ate?
Laughing?
Favorite holiday?
Italy.
Stop. Okay, so you got 14. So you've not beaten Mark, but you're still on the leaderboard. So,
Right.
I mean, first of all, I want to ask Buffy.
Just in my head, because my housemate was talking about it the other day. And I actually wasn't, my mum was really strict when I was growing up. And we weren't allowed to watch TV shows until 6. And that was on, it was The Simpsons, I think, till 6:30. And then 6:30 was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I remember really enjoying both of those because we weren't allowed to watch TV until about 6. So we missed out on all the kid shows, which was, yeah, a bit of a shame.
Well, I mean, Buffy's quite a mature program.
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed with that. I really, really hope that some people will comment and know that I'm not by myself in this. There was a program growing up called Stupid, and it had a special segment about a boy who had a thing called Devil's Finger, where he would just poke people.
Yes, Devil's Finger. Yeah,
I'm not very unrealistic. I've said that.
Wendy. Yeah,
Bendy Wendy.
Yeah,
yes. I finally got Bendy Wendy into the show. People either go, "Oh yeah, I remember that," or completely think I'm weird. They're like, "Why would you watch a show with a Bendy Wendy?" Like, anyway, let's get into the nitty gritty. So, what is your job?
So I'm local activism lead. I joined the Children's Society actually on pretty much day one of the lockdown. So I've been working from home for the whole time I've been here over the last few months. And what my role is all about is getting our supporters involved in our campaigns on kind of the rights and welfare of vulnerable children all across the country. And so things that I'll do is just kind of get supporters connected up with our local decision makers, or just engaged in many, many different ways into our kind of local campaigning, as well as sometimes our national campaigning, all of the campaigning. Yeah.
All of the campaigning. Well, that sounds like a really, really interesting aspect. I suppose that do you find it a little bit different from national to local, like campaigning?
Yeah, I think it is slightly different in respect to what I do, because although sometimes it's great to get our supporters obviously involved in every bit of campaigning that we do, and the really great thing about local campaigning is that because it's happening in your local council and your local area, you can really see the changes happening right in front of you really fast, because in Westminster things can take a bit of time to get done. Yeah. And that's the same in kind of most kind of, I guess, areas of campaigning. But in local areas, I think people feel really kind of invested, especially because it's about improving things in their kind of local communities. And that's why I think it fits so nicely kind of with kind of local activism, I guess. But,
yeah, I can imagine that actually. So I suppose we're hearing every day on the news that the government is helping another company out. Because obviously every different business is kind of been severely affected by COVID, but there's not that much help out there at the moment for young people. And there's a campaign that we've mentioned before, Strengthen the Safety Net. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and why it's so important?
Yeah, I mean, that's completely right. There's a lot of kind of support out there for happening at the moment, but you don't hear so much about what's happening to really vulnerable families that are in a really tough situation at the moment, having to deal with the fact that their children aren't in school, they might be losing their jobs, really kind of difficult situations. And that's why the Strengthen the Safety Net campaign is so important, because this is a campaign that we've actually been kind of working on for quite some time. And it's all about local crisis support. And when we talk about local crisis support, what that essentially means is your council stepping in and stopping families from falling into poverty and destitution just for kind of everyday things like not being able to pay kind of the latest energy bill, or having a sudden kind of crisis happen to them. And sometimes these can be really dramatic things, like sadly a bereavement or something else kind of like that, but also it can be quite everyday things, like getting a gas bill that's slightly higher than expected. And because a lot of people that kind of need this kind of help are in a situation where they're living paycheck to paycheck or on the breadline, something like that can actually really kind of throw everything off balance and put them in a really kind of dangerous situation. And that's why we really want every local authority to have a really strong safety net to catch these families and stop them from falling into poverty and destitution. And what this safety net typically comes in the form of is a local welfare assistance scheme.
Okay.
Yeah, and so with local welfare assistance schemes, they've been quite underfunded in recent times, and also 1 in 7 councils across the country doesn't even have one anymore. And
Wow.
yeah, which is obviously not great. And with kind of COVID-19, obviously a lot more people are in a situation where crisis is actually just kind of very close by. And so it's really important that we kind of campaign on this and kind of make the safety net stronger, as well as kind of making sure that there is a safety net everywhere across England and elsewhere as well.
Yeah. So what can someone like me do about it? What can how can I help?
So we've already had some really fantastic support from our supporters on this campaign. One thing that we launched recently, which some of the supporters on this chat might have been involved with, is we got everyone to write to the Secretary of State for the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, asking for more funding for these schemes across the country. And that's, that action is still kind of live, but we have already had some success with that action, which is really fantastic. So the government's actually turned around and said that they will give 63 million to local welfare assistance schemes, and that's thanks to supporters actually writing to the Secretary of State. So that's really amazing, and that's over kind of the next 3 months. But in terms of what supporters can really be doing now, is the fantastic thing is it all comes back to kind of local actions that you can be taking. So when we kind of talk about local actions that can be taken, what we're referring to is really kind of getting engaged with your local councillors, maybe chatting with your local press, that kind of thing. And I know that might seem a bit kind of overwhelming to kind of get started with, especially if you're new to campaigning. But the great thing is we have a local activism lead, me, and I'm more than happy to kind of talk any supporter through supporting this campaign, and that's what I've been kind of doing recently, helping people kind of get in contact with their local councillors, telling them kind of what would be really useful to learn about what's going on in their local area to kind of support the campaign, as well as what would be the kind of most useful strategic steps in the kind of for this campaign in their local area. Because obviously, as I said, it kind of differs in each different council what the situation is. Some councils do have a scheme, so local crisis support is there, but the funding might not be protected, and maybe that's something we need to kind of push a bit on. And then in other places, there might not actually even be a scheme in existence. So, the conversation is starting much more from a basic level of just trying to kind of warm them up to actually reinstating this really, really important scheme to make sure that vulnerable families are getting the support they need. But yeah, so there's a lot that can be kind of done locally at the moment, just by kind of responding to kind of our campaigns emails or getting in touch with the campaigns team to express your interest in doing a bit of local campaigning. But yeah, and also just share campaign amongst your networks is really, really useful.
I think especially nowadays with social media, especially during COVID, that the use of social media has become so important, because that's how you kind of find out about these things. Like, not many people want to watch the news right now, so if they see something in their area like trending on Twitter or something like that, give it a little bit of an extra shout out so someone else is aware of it. That's amazing about that win. Was it 63 million?
63 million. So we've asked for 250 million over a year. Okay. But what this is for 3 months. So it's a bit of short-term funding, and it's actually kind of in line with the figure that we've kind of called for. And so we really want to use this as a case for long-term kind of, funding to really support this, these schemes everywhere. And that's, it's really good that we've kind of been given this opportunity to do just that, really.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, a few weeks ago, I know because I mentioned it, that I mentioned a scheme called, is it the Campaign Champions?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
So that's another really fantastic kind of part of my role, is just basically helping to kind of coordinate the campaign's champion program. And I guess the best way to kind of explain what a campaign champion is to kind of just talk through the journey of becoming one, really.
Yeah.
So the campaign's champion program is pretty much designed for our supporters who are really kind of eager to be meaningfully involved in our campaigns. And you can sign up to become one on the website. And what will happen once you've signed up is you'll get an email from me asking to kind of find a good time to be in contact and have a call. Then we'll have a call together, and I'll find out what you're really passionate about, why you feel so strongly about improving things for children across the country. And then we'll have a conversation about the campaigns that we're working on and what you'd like to kind of be supporting in your local area. And it's always a really kind of fantastic call to have. I love getting to kind of chat directly with our supporters and find out kind of what they're passionate about. And then from there, it's pretty much doing what I just discussed, really. It's just, engaging with your local decision makers. Sometimes it might even be engaging with your local MP. And it's just all about kind of using our campaigns to improve the situation and make change for the better for children and young people living in your local area. And that is a really kind of great kind of team to be a part of. We're trying to kind of do more and more kind of digital meetups where we'll do big kind of briefing discussion sessions on campaigns. And we're also looking in the future to do kind of training opportunities as well with our campaign champions. So it's a great kind of, if you're someone, who's really passionate, all you need is passion really for improving things for young people and children, then this is definitely the program for you, I would say.
Oh, well, I can already think of a few of my family members and friends that would actually absolutely love that, because I suppose they sometimes get a bit worried that they don't know enough about politics, etc. They themselves don't think they have that much influence. So know that it's kind of that straightforward, and there's someone like you to support them through it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll post about that later in the link, so anyone this now or in the future can share it with people that they think might be beneficial to them. So as we've said a few successes that have gone on, and something that's gone all over the news is a few U-turns the government may have done, famously the free school meal campaign. But what impact can you predict this will have on the young people that are kind of in our services?
Well, it's a really kind of welcome U-turn, because I think the big thing that was a concern for us is, as kind of some of the people watching this will be aware, we've been campaigning to get more support for young people who are subject to really strict immigration rules. That means that they can't access a lot of the support that the government's made available. But one thing that they were able to access because of some adaptations to this scheme that we called for, they were able to get free school meals. So it's really good that this U-turn has happened, because it means that those young people aren't going to be as cut off over the summer months. Unfortunately, however, there's still many other things that they will be cut off. And also as well, even with the free school meals, like the kind of changes that were brought to that scheme to give access to those young people, some of them still aren't kind of able to kind of access kind of free school meals as well. So it's an interesting one, because we're making kind of progress on all kinds of things, us and many other kind of brilliant organizations campaigning to kind of ensure children are supported through this crisis, but the campaigns are kind of like far from over. And something kind of like that U-turn is a really promising thing, because I guess it gives us kind of hope that if we kind of can make the case strong enough and show that there is a real kind of public outcry about an issue, we can actually get the changes that we want to see, and ensure that the young people that we support through our services are kind of given the proper safety net and support to not just survive this crisis but thrive in it, and just kind of come out stronger at the other end, really. And so that's kind of really, I guess, what we want to be kind of pushing for, more and more, I would say.
Yeah, I suppose the whole thing that's happened, it, like you said, it shows that the power of people belonging to the movement can make a huge difference. Well, I know that you've got to rush off, and I don't want to take up any more of your time because you need to go and get some food or whatever. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. Guys, if you are watching and you've got any questions for Rory, I'm sure you can still comment and we can try and get back to you. But thank you so much, Rory. And this is the first time we're meeting each other virtually, and I think this will be the future for a long time. So I would love to hear more, and we will talk again soon. So thank you, Rory.
Great. Thanks so much. It's great to be in.
So now you've just got me, guys, and then that's when I start seeing the viewers figures just dwindle. But if you are able to stay on to listen, watch me wherever you are, do continue commenting and say where you are watching us from. But thank you everyone for really joining, because I know that it's a very hot day and people are wanting to be outside. I'm just looking at my garden right now and trying to see where it's a nice shady spot for me to sit later on. But I'm sure most of you have actually seen previous videos, and if not, you can still access all of the videos, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. So last week it was Refugee Week, so we spoke. I was lucky enough to speak to Musa, who, I mean, if you haven't watched it, please do, because he's an inspiring human being. Not only is he a young person, but he was actually just done an exam and still found time to talk to me. So I was really appreciative of that. But we still need you guys to help realistically. The petition is still live to help them get more support, like what happens in Scotland and Northern Ireland. So we will share again that link, but if you haven't signed, or you know people who haven't signed, then please do share with your colleagues, friends, family, housemates. But I think we're actually reached 10,000 signatures, which is unbelievable. So it's all down to people like you, and hopefully we can get a government U-turn like that's happened before. And you know, if you haven't seen the video, we played the 1 minute video, but if you haven't seen the 8-minute video of their journey to Glasgow to find out more, then I really do recommend you take a bit of a break and watch it. It's very moving, powerful, and it was all done by young people. They got to say what they wanted to say, so it's really from the heart. So I think I encourage everybody to take some time out and watch it, and then sign the petition and share it. So I kind of want to just have a bit of happiness to leave on. So I'm going to bring up some positive news. So there was a Birmingham-led initiative, well, youth-led actually initiative, and as you can see on the screen now, that a few self-soothe boxes were sent to young people to help manage anxiety and panic, especially during this time. I mean, if you've never suffered from anxiety or panic before, it's absolutely, like, you know, everything that's happening right now currently, it's gonna be hard for anybody, especially young people. So imagine just having a bit of a bad day, struggling, and then you receive that little box of goodness. So I just thought that would be really nice to share with you guys. And then also a few weeks ago, I think it was, 3UK, the company, supported us with incredible tech, which makes a huge difference and helps young isolated people kind of feel a bit more connected with us and their friends and their support network, which I think, as you can tell, is very important, because without technology, we would all feel so isolated. But we forget that there's thousands of young people out there who maybe can't actually do their schoolwork. They can't connect with their friends. They can't connect with their counsellors. So that has made a huge difference. So I just want to leave you with kind of a note that yesterday we have all been told that rules are relaxing a little bit. We're able to go to like more places, see more people. But like I said, that can also bring anxiety. I don't know if I'm alone with this, but watching the news, seeing things trending on Twitter, and then kind of panicking that I may not be ready to completely go back to socializing with people, and there's still the fear because we are still in the middle of a pandemic. So I just want everyone to know that they're not alone. Others are feeling that way, myself included. Feeling the stress and the pressure with everything. So you can still say no, you can still take time to adjust and just ultimately do what's best for you and your loved ones, because you've got to, every situation is different. So if you don't want to meet up with some people, that's okay to do. There is some great charities out there who are kind of posting out self-help guides, and just they're supporting every one of us as well. So do take a look. I think Mind just tweeted about, they've done a thread about how you can help yourself during these times. So let's all take one day at a time, and I will be back next Wednesday. I can't confirm who's going to be on next week yet, but do around the same time, I'll be here, hopefully a little bit less hot. Yeah, so thank you everyone who's watched. Remember to share with everybody and continue the conversation in the group. I think that'd be fab to hear from you guys. So all the best from me, and I'll let you go back to your lunch breaks. So ta-ra.